This is a video about Deadpool, the new game that just came out. A couple things to say before I get into it. I did not have early access to this. There was no discount for my audience. There never will be, which I don't care about the kickback. It's just that affiliate link is often a way of getting more people into the game, and it's a bummer that they're not doing that. Second thing to say is that when I went to capture my gameplay footage, I ran out of storage very fast because the game is over 30 gigs, and as a result, playing like 2 hours, I have nothing to show. I got nothing. I have footage from my original play session featuring the demo that they released, but it doesn't include that opening car chase scene. It doesn't include the boss fights. So I'll show some of that just to cover my bases, but in this video, I'm going to be borrowing footage from Gamertag VR, which his video will be linked down below. I'm only using portions of it to convey my own experience, and I'll be adding my own dialogue to it. Because this video isn't coming out on the day of, or even, prior to the game's release, as so many other creators had the chance to, I feel like most people aren't going to be here to see gameplay footage, to see what it's really like. They would have seen that already. Instead, you're here because you want my thoughts on it, and should you buy this game, considering it's at like $50. And so thanks to Gamertag for the hard work he did collecting this footage. I won't be using a lot of it, but I'll be leaning on it for a little bit. You guys are watching Bringhurst VR. Need this fantasy. So right off the bat, the game is expensive. It's $50, but it's very fun. It's a very well fleshed out, so to speak, game. And I've got issues with a couple aspects of it. There were glitches and freezes and moments where just come on, let's go. But I keep going back to this thing where I imagine what it would be like to take a thing like this and give it to my 10-year-old self back in 1993, who was at that time playing Sega and looking forward to what would be the Game Gear and later on the Nintendo 64. And just what magic this is. What magic this game is. And the headset and the whole experience, it would have blown my mind. And even like back then, you could have taken billionaires, charged them happily $2,000 an hour just to experience a game like this. And so it's very cool. It's very immersive, and they put a lot of work into this thing. And it's evident just from the get-go with this opening sequence. There's not a lot to do. You're in the Jeep, and you're rolling down a hill, and you're firing on these guys who are coming at you from the sides, and they're throwing bombs, and they're crashing, and it goes on forever, and it's impressive. But that's just like a taste. Like, that's not even the game. But it sets it up in such a way that it conveys to you that they put a lot of work into this. Because you can kill these guys using your katanas or the guns at your side, or throwing things, or kicking and stomping their head and slicing. There's so much that you could do. If you get into the rhythm of it, it's a very fun game. It's a very good experience. And you'll see TikTok videos of people doing these bullet hell sequences to the tune of Freebird, as it's just slash and thrash and firing guns, and it's all timed perfectly. It's so fast. But when you're in the game, it's different, because those guys are choreographing that stuff. There are times where it works like butter, and you go through a door, throw the katanas, take a guy's arm off, pull out your gun, take off his head, jump, kick, smash him. When you're in that mode, it's a blast. But at other times, it's this thing where you're kind of spinning around and looking for a guy, and you think you might be in proximity to him, and so you slash him with a knife, but the knife kind of doesn't go through him like butter, which is just to say that the really good experience, the kind of frame by frame pile of bodies that you see online, it can be done, but there's more to it than meets the eye. That's kind of movie magic, and I think that you'll find that it's a little bit tiring trying to achieve that level of carnage, like with the momentum that you see from those guys. They do make it very easy in the sense that, like, the guns at your side, you have dual pistols, you have dual katanas over your back, you have unlimited, though they take time to regenerate, grenades on your wrist, and at some point pretty early on in the game, you're given a grappling gun, which is always behind your back, your lower back. And so you have these unlimited things. You don't run out of ammo. If anything, you're really just trying to conserve your grenades, because if you run out, you got to wait a number of seconds. But you're not at risk of being cornered and nothing to do, because you always have your weapons. And so I think that takes some of the excitement out of it a little bit. But you're not really in this game for puzzles. You're not in it for strategery. You're in it for fast-paced melee bullet hell. And the game gives it to you. You just got to lean into it and maintain that sense of optimism throughout and keep your spirits up and keep moving. And through all that, the game will try to kind of bring you down, I think. This is Deadpool. And so, you know, he's got a mouth on him. He's always got some sarcastic thing to say, as Ryan Reynolds is wont to do. The man does not act. He just kind of talks sarcastically at the audience. And this isn't Ryan Reynolds. This is Neil Patrick Harris. And he's got a lot of dialogue. It's impressive. Like, it doesn't seem to repeat too much, but he pulls it off. I think that you know that it wasn't Ryan Reynolds, but he does a good job. And whatever led to Ryan Reynolds being booted from this project, I have no idea. I'm sure he's butthurt over it, but for you, the audience, I think that he does a good job. But that's also to say that he's got a mouth on him. And I'm not a Puritan. I don't care. I like a Quentin Tarantino movie as much as the next guy. I'm fine with violence. I relish in it gameplay wise. But there is this immaturity to the game, I think amplified more so than even the movie. And that's fine. It's okay. I haven't touched on this aspect, but Gamertag VR goes on to say that there is a toggle which can make it family friendly if, you know, you want to throw your teenager, whatever kid in the game, and kind of cut out some of that language. But again, I'm not so much offended by it as I am just kind of roll my eyes. Like, I just want to fight somebody. I just want to cut someone's head off and keep moving. I want to burst through a window with guns drawn and dodge a missile. I want to do that. And a lot of the time there's this dialogue that just, it's relentless and it goes on forever. And some of it, a lot of it, you can't skip. Some of these short sequences, you can hold A to jump past it, but there's just some dialogue that you wish you could get through. It's not about it being distasteful or anything like that. You want to skip it. You want to get to the action, and they don't let you. I did have a couple hiccups, continuous hiccups actually, to where the body mechanics are actually really good. Like, I hate the full body in everything, but in this, they do it really well, to where if you pull out your arm and you kind of test the ball and socket and the joints, it moves realistically. It's never this weird, girthy thing that seems out of place. They did a really good job with that IK bone structure, but they did a terrible job of mapping it and linking it to your body, because in this first boss fight, for instance, where you're shooting this guy and you're throwing swords, but really the main damage that you deal to him comes from you using your grappling hook and pulling chunks of debris and hurling it at the guy. So as a result, you're kind of spinning around and doing a 360, doing your best to stay in place, but it's imperfect. And at the end of it all, I'm standing like 2 feet to the left of my body. And what's supposed to happen ideally is when you physically walk within your guardian, the body kind of awkwardly shuffles to keep up with you so that your head is always mounted on this body. But sometimes it's so tangled and disassociated from you that it's way over here. And more than that, somehow your arms are like twisted. Like, that's a thing that happened a few times. What happened like more than a dozen times is if you step away from your body, if you're a severed head and you're sitting on a table, which is wont to happen, if you physically walk this way, then the screen will go gray and kind of pause, similar to Alex and sticking your head through a wall. It'll kind of go a dull orange. But what happens here is in the boss fight where you're spinning 360s and trying to keep up and hurling stuff at this guy, it doesn't feel like I'm moving. It feels like I'm doing a solid 360. And even looking down at my body, my head is like right over my chest, but the screen will go gray and pause all of a sudden, and I'll kind of take a step left and right, and that's not working, and take a step back and then step forward, and then it unpauses and it gives the game back to me. And I can only assume that that's happening because somehow my head is like so off course from the body that it's become an issue. And it only seems to happen when I'm in the air and doing a kick toward him, which makes sense because if you're offset from your body in regular gameplay, the body just shuffles to keep up with you. But when you're in the air, you're in this kind of pre-animated pose. Moving away from that isn't going to allow the body to kind of shuffle and keep up, and so it's pausing because I'm outside of that. But it happens enough and on accident so many times that it's worth mentioning. It was weird, it was a bit annoying, and not sure what to do. And to that point, you know, I'm pretty well against the concept of using the Roto VR chair with anything outside of games that rely on drifting and flying and skating and grappling and stuff like that. I think that's where that chair shines. But in this game, because it relies so heavily on you having your head positioned correctly, I almost think that it might be worth just being in the chair and spinning. That would have solved my problem for sure. But throughout all of that, I gotta say, you know, hiccups and the body's weird at times. The dialogue drones on, and the dialogue is kind of, you know, volatile and abrasive and gross enough of the time that, you know, even without being offended by it, you just kind of roll your eyes and can we just fight? Like, I don't need to hear about like how your pants are tight because you're in this exciting situation. Like, can we just please play this game? But it's hard to voice something like that without coming off as a prude necessarily. That's not really how I feel. I'm just kind of bored with it. But I want to go back to the thing where I say that despite all of that, it's a beautiful game. It's very well fleshed out. It's big. They put a lot of work into it. The fight sequences are amazing. The AI players, these combatants that you're fighting, for the most part, are well designed. I think it should be played. I think that it's cinematic, and obviously it's one of the most anticipated games of the year. I don't think it's game of the year. I don't think it deserves this praise that's being heaped on it. I think that that's artificial, and I think that this is like Hollywood nonsense. But it's big, it's fun, it's overpriced, there are no discounts to be had, and you should know that, you know, I'm talking about this game out of an obligation to the audience, really. I'm impressed with it theatrically and just conceptually with what they did with it. But there's another game like I've got just I want to talk about. I wanted to upload that today, and I couldn't because I have to get this out as quick as I could because I did not have early access to this. I'm making a video that's, you know, days late compared to other creators. And these guys were kind enough to send me this package. They did this. They mailed me a garbage bag wrapped in duct tape, filled with a crumpled up note from Deadpool, and basically thanking me for talking about this. And there was a candle and some stickers and a nice kind of sweatshirt. And I'm honestly more appreciative of Meta for arranging that and getting that to me, because that's how these kinds of things happen. But looking past that, you know, thank you, I appreciate it, but no affiliate link, no discount code for the audience on a game that's $50, when right now nearly every single other game on the MetaQuest store, like I'm making a video on it right now, but Hotel Infinity is wild. It's so cool. It's so amazing. It's doing things that I've never seen done in other games, just on a level with like which you interact with the Guardian. It's cool. And that game is 20% off for the rest of the year. Like, all these games are 20% off for the rest of the year compared to the 10% that you typically get from an affiliate link from me. And so to know that you could get that discount on everything except for this, that's like the most expensive game on the store, is a bit disheartening. That's all I'm gonna say. So anyway, that's a long way of saying that if you want this game, you'll find it linked down below. But if you want to save 20% off, you can use the code BRINGHURST across all the other games and play to your heart's content. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my members. Look at this, we're growing all the time. And you can become a member too by clicking right here. And in return, you get early access to all this content. And on occasion, we do marble runs, which is a way of saying thank you and giving back now and again. Thank you to Gamertag VR for kind of, without his permission, using some of his footage. It's much appreciated. You'll find his video linked down below. And that's all I got. Godspeed.